Well, hello. I'm here to discuss with you question number 8, an evidence question. So let's read the question together and take it from there. And do me a favor as you listen to me and don't read the answers, just read the question with me. So number 8, a defendant was arrested and charged with the murder of a member of the local athletic club. The victim was found dead near the locker room inside the club. The defendant allegedly entered the club, killed the victim, and left before anyone discovered the body. At trial, the prosecution calls the doorman of the club, who testified that, although he could not identify the defendant by sight, he remembered admitting a member the day of the murder who showed a membership card bearing the name of Arnold Kramer. The prosecution then sought to admit the testimony of a police officer that a membership card to the athletic club bearing the name of Arnold Kramer was found on the defendant's person at the time of his arrest. So our question is, what is the defendant's best argument in seeking to exclude the police officer's testimony? Now, if we stop there, what I like to do, my thought is, in handling any multiple choice question, is to not read the suggested answers, but first try to formulate my own answer. Because as a veteran of these kinds of questions, it is sometimes the questioner's aim to identify close, near misses that will tend to mislead you, will suggest answers that won't be correct. So stopping right there, with an evidence question, the first thing I like to do is always to identify the posture of the case. Okay, this is obviously, it's a criminal case, not civil. And then identify the piece of evidence that is the testimony of the police officer. So the fact that the question is a criminal case means that the confrontation clause is something you need to think about. Okay. Now let's look at the question in more detail. We have testimony of a police officer. The key evidence here is he's describing the membership card that bears the name of Arnold Kramer. First of all, there's no confrontation clause issue. We know it's a criminal case, but there's no hearsay trouble. There's no problem with an out-of-court declarant who's testifying, in effect, in the courtroom. Okay, we're not admitting the membership card for the truth of the matter, it asserts. We're not trying to prove that the defendant is, in fact, Arnold Kramer, only that the defendant had the card that bore the name Arnold Kramer. So only that he possessed it and identifies him as the one who entered the membership club, that's the relevant part. Secondly, we have a document. That's the membership card. Well, if we have a document and we don't have a hearsay trouble, that means that likely we have either a best evidence problem or authentication problem. Authentication is just that the thing is what you say it is. Here, there's no authentication issues. There's no trouble with chain of custody or that the police might have misplaced the card. Nothing like that is in the question. So therefore, our likely problem is with best evidence. The best evidence rule, you should recall, is where the witness is providing testimony as to the contents of a writing instead of producing the writing itself. And here, this is exactly what's going on. The witness, the police officer, is providing testimony as to what the card said. It said Arnold Kramer, instead of bringing the card itself in and having the card be admitted. So now we turn to our possible answers. Question A, it violates the best evidence rule. That's exactly where we're at, right? We know it's a piece of writing where the testimony relates to the contents. Suggested answer B, it violates the hearsay rule. We're not admitting this document for its hearsay, right? We're not trying to prove that the holder of the card is Arnold Kramer, at least not in the question itself. C, it's about a collateral matter. That means it's not relevant. Clearly, it's very relevant. The identification card puts this defendant at the scene of the crime. And then D, self-incrimination privilege. The defendant's not testifying here, not being asked to testify, so there's no issue on D. So the obvious answer is A, A, best evidence rule. A little hint here that whenever we see the hearsay rule in these questions, without any mention of possible exceptions, then typically it's not going to be a hearsay problem. The bar will not make you go through all the exceptions in your mind to rule out all possible hearsay exceptions. So that's always a good bet when it's hearsay by itself. For back